Unfortunately, we have to talk about Joe Burrow probably being out for the season. I anticipated this happening, which is why, because how elite Joe Burrow has been, I decided to fade the Cincinnati Bengals this year. And that makes no sense on the surface, but hear me out. Joe Burrow has had to do everything for this team. The team can't run the ball. The team can't pass block. The team's defense isn't very good. So for the only way for them to win games is Joe Burrow not only play at the elite levels that he's been playing and continue that all 17 games, but also somehow stay healthy while he's trying to drag the rest of his team with him. And I did not expect him to be able to do that. I thought that there was a very good chance that he would get hurt. And unfortunately, that's the truth of the matter. And let's talk about this offensive line so far this year. The Cincinnati Bengals offensive line has allowed Joe Burrow to be pressured on 42% of his dropbacks, which is 30th in the league, obviously third most. He was hit on 27% of his dropbacks, 32nd. He's getting hit left and right. He's getting pressured left and right. The offensive line has been the worst offensive line in the NFL over the last 6 years now, 5 years. They ranked 28th this year. They ranked dead last year in pass block win rate. 27th the year before that, 30th and 30th in the prior 2 years. It's been a horrific offensive line that did not get properly adjusted or addressed this season. Say, oh, well, they brought in Dalton Risner. Do you realize Dalton Risner got a 44 grade week 1, a 48 grade week 2, and currently ranked 63 out of 67 qualifying guards this offseason? Let's talk about the run game. Joe Burrow's support system. What else could they do? They might be able to run the ball, right? Hand it off, give Joe Burrow a break. Nope. This rushing attack through 2 weeks, 31st in yards per carry at 3.1, 30th in explosive run rate at 0%, zero explosive runs so far this year, 31st at rate of runs for 1 yard or less, 43% of their runs are gaining 1 yard or less, and 31st in yards before contact at minus 0.17. What does that mean? It means on average when they hand the ball off to the running back, the defense is getting penetration and that running back isn't even getting to the line of scrimmage before he's hit. Second worst in the NFL at 31st. Let's talk about their defense for a second. Could they rely on their defense, make life a little bit easier for Joe Burrow? Nope, they can't. This you won't see in play-by-play data, but if you look at series by series or drive by drive, you will see that they rank dead last in opponent yards to go on third down. So they're allowing their opponents to get closer to the line of scrimmage on third down than any other defense in the league. And that's why they rank 29th in third down conversion rate. They are allowing over a 52% conversion rate on third down. And as a result of being so terrible on third down, they force punts on only 18% of their drives, which ranks 31st in the NFL, and they allow 41% of opponent drives to reach the red zone, which ranks 30th in the NFL. And that's tough to do considering one of their games, half their data point is against the Cleveland Browns, who couldn't do anything last week against the Baltimore Ravens. But yet you go up against the Cincinnati Bengals and half the data points is against that offense of the Cleveland Browns, and they still rank 31st in rate of forcing punts. If you watch that game yesterday, I mean, for the first 3 quarters, all the Browns were doing is punting the ball or turning it over. So that's pretty hard to do for the Cincinnati Bengals defense. It is a terrible defense. It is a terrible offensive line. It is a bad run game, and nothing has changed this offseason. So it's unfortunate that Joe Burrow was playing in this circumstance. This team made the organizational decision to build in ways that most teams that have success don't build. Yes, you have to find your star quarterback, Joe Burrow, but you have to figure out ways to balance the support system. I'll give you 3 examples of 3 of the best quarterbacks that he goes up against. Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson. Those 3 quarterbacks have some of the best defense in the NFL, some of the better run games in the NFL. But look at those receivers that they have. I mean, what wide receivers, great wide receivers is Lamar Jackson throwing the ball to? Josh Allen throwing the ball to? You're not seeing any Jamar Chases. You're not seeing any T. Higgins. But that's what those teams are doing, and they've been having success at reaching the playoffs. Whereas the Cincinnati Bengals went in a different direction, paying all their wide receivers, but still putting their $275 million quarterback behind the worst offensive line in the NFL and expecting a different result. That's what we call insanity. I wish it wasn't the case. I don't even know how the Bengals are 2-0 right now. They legitimately probably should be 0-2 at this moment. Somehow they're 2-0. Maybe Jake Browning has a magical season. We'll see. The future isn't written. But Joe Burrow, his future has been written, at least in the near term. And that's sitting on the sidelines, rehabbing this surgery that he has to get for his toe because his offensive line can't protect him. And we'll see how he tries to come back and rehab that. But bad situation for a bad organization, and tough luck for Joe Burrow, who is one of the best and most elite quarterbacks that the game has. So it's sad for all of us because we don't get to see one of the best quarterbacks playing football for the vast majority of this 2025 season.